everyone. My name is Matthew, and today I'm going to talk about making music on the computer from scratch. And this is a series of tutorials I'm going to do for beginners. If you're just getting started and you want to have a hobby that involves making music on the computer, that's my hobby. So I'm going to share that with you and kind of walk through my process. And hopefully, if you like some of the stuff that I make, you can emulate some of that and get some tips and tricks based on what I do. So there's a bunch of different ways you can make music on the computer, and there's a bunch of different computers that you can make music on, right? Phones, tablets, they have a lot of apps that you can use to make music. On a desktop computer, there's a number of different digital audio workstations that you can use to make music on, and that's where I'm going to do most of my work out of digital audio workstations. And that's probably the right place to start. So if you want to make music on the computer, you have to start with a digital audio workstation. And if you want to find out which ones to use, a simple Google search will give you a lot of good options. There's some good free options. I think the best free option out there is probably just GarageBand. If you're working with a Mac, GarageBand comes with your computer, and it's a pretty user friendly and complete DAW, DAW. But there's other good ones out there as well. And if you want to pay for one, they're a little bit more robust. But there's some good ones out there. Some of the best out there. There's FL Studio is a pretty good one. A lot of the artists that I know that are pretty talented, all of them swear by Ableton. That's a really popular one that a lot of artists use. Reaper's out there as well. There's Cubase. Logic is kind of the big boy version of GarageBand. So if you like GarageBand and you want to upgrade and pay for something that's a little bit beefier, Logic is that option. The program that I use is actually called Reason. So a lot of the stuff that I make will be in Reason. There's also BandLab as well, and then kind of the industry standard flagship mixing mastering DAW is Pro Tools. I used to use Pro Tools. I don't still use Pro Tools. The price has gotten pretty prohibitive. So if you're a beginner and you're just getting started, work your way up to Pro Tools when you're ready to become a professional. But when you're starting out, start with something a little bit cheaper. A lot of them will do a lot of the same things at pretty high quality. So what I have up on my screen right now is actually GarageBand. So I'm gonna walk you through how you can start off making music in GarageBand. So what you're seeing here is kind of just there's a couple tracks here on the screen. I forget if this was a preset or if I added these myself, but there's a couple different instruments that are here now. So there's a grand piano, electric piano, and a couple other pianos. So you can add instruments in this type of interface, and all DAWs will have this type of interface. You can add drums, bass, guitar, whatever you want. And if you're just starting out and you don't really know how to start making a song, you don't have your process established yet. A lot of times when I write music, there'll be some kind of idea that I'll start with, like a bass line or a melody line, or maybe I'll just start with chords, or maybe I have a cool drum beat. But if you really have no idea where to start and you just want to start playing around and kind of building those creative muscles, GarageBand actually has a pretty good loop library. And so I'll dig into the loop library today and try to put some stuff together. Maybe I want to start with some kind of drums. So they've got a bunch of them sitting here waiting for me. Kind of just click through and pick the one that I like. Yeah, pretty funky, pretty groovy. But I'm going to go with this one. So I'll just drag that right in on this first track here. And now if I just move my cursor to the beginning, hit spacebar, it'll play that for me. So let's start layering some additional tracks on top of that, right? Song can't be just drums. So maybe I don't want drums. I'll go in, I'll find something electric. There's a couple good ones in here that I know about already. That'll work. I'll drag that in there. Let's put this here. Let's put this guy here. We'll have it be a nice little intro. Sounds kind of like the first one, so I'll drag that in as kind of the progression, after that little intro. And with these loops, right, the idea is you can copy and paste them. You can start to build them on top of each other and make sections of the song that'll continue to, build out and go forward. So let me just copy, paste, and now I've got two of them. They're multiplying. So what does that sound like now? Oh, sounds like my metronome's on. I don't need that right now, so I'll turn that off. Maybe I only want to listen to the instrument track here and not the drum track. I can go ahead and solo that channel so that it mutes the drum track. So that's a pretty useful tool, right? You can either mute or solo all these tracks when you're layering instrument on top of instrument to kind of hear what you've done. So let me continue to build this out a little bit more and make it a little bit more exciting. I kind of like that one. Maybe I'll make that one my intro instead of that guy. Which one was it? Drag it right in there. All right. Copy, paste. Whoop. Copy, paste. All right, let's see what that sounds like now. It has layers. Nice. So it can be that easy to start kind of messing around in one of these free DAWs, and kind of start, building some patterns, how you like to make music, building out some things you like, learning what you do and you don't like. And there's a bunch of different loops in here that you can use. And I'm sure GarageBand isn't the only DAW that has loops. You can find loops in the other DAWs as well, but you don't just have to use loops. So if I wanted to exit out of this loop library here and actually get in and start editing some of this, I can actually write directly in here. So I'm going to do Command click, and now I've got some space to write MIDI in if I want. So let's see what my drum beat looks like in my MIDI channel down here. These are just representations of the notes, right? So you got your keyboard, and it just tells you kind of the timing that those notes occur. And then I think, how does it do it in GarageBand? It's been a while since I've been in GarageBand. But usually it'll tell you the time signature. I know it just opens in default as 120. Let's see if I can edit let me find it. Awesome, figured it out. So down here, there's a couple different options. This one's displaying kind of measures. You can display chords, right? And this will take the input of the computer and kind of let you know if it's on tune. And then here I've got my key. So it's writing in C major. I don't think anything in here is actually going to restrict me to C major. It's just if you want to set a key for your song. And then here's the tempo. So if it's at 120 by default, time signature is 4/4, right? You can see that, in between, each measure, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 sections to that. That's a music theory thing. I don't know music theory very well. A lot of great musicians do, but you can write music as a beginner without knowing a whole lot about music theory. I do recommend trying to learn about music theory as you go. It will make you a better artist, but don't let it stop you if you really want to start making music and you don't know music theory. Who cares? So if I wanted to jack this tempo way up, I can make this song really, really fast, really quick. Sounds like trash though. So let's put it back to where we started. 120 is good enough for me, man. So I was going to go in, I was going to look at the MIDI, and I was going to start writing my own notes. So these loops are pretty useful because I can see, especially since these are MIDI loops, I can go in, and I can see which notes they're playing. I can recreate those myself. I don't think it'll let me copy and paste them. The last time I tried to do this, GarageBand didn't really like that. Some other DAWs will let you do that more easily. I do that with, yeah, it didn't let me do it. That's okay. I do that with Reason all the time. Copy and paste is pretty fun. But if I just wanted to make my own notes, I could do that pretty easily. Command click, and all of a sudden I'm writing notes. Shrink. If I'm doing kind of a, 4 on the floor thing here with this, maybe I want to make this a bass note, or a kick drum as opposed to a snare drum. And there are bass drums in this kit. Good news. I got a couple different ones. So maybe I want kind of a 4 on the floor bass line. Let's do kind of a bass drum line. Let's do kind of a kick snare alternation. Boom, boom. Nope. Yep. There. Cool. And now we have this really fancy drum line. That's good stuff right there. But that's how easy it can be to go in and write your own drum beats. And obviously you can start to get pretty creative. If I'm just going to reference these loops, there's a bunch of different notes in here that I can take some inspiration from. Maybe I copy that over and I start to add variations on it. I can do that, or I can just really start from scratch and kind of make this whatever I want. So maybe I want to give it just a little bit more flavor like this. I can go in and make those edits. Cool stuff. So making music on the computer from scratch as a beginner can be really easy, right? Just start to figure out what you like and establish some guidelines around how you write music, right? Maybe you always start with some kind of drum beat, right? Give yourself an easy drum beat to work around, and then you start to build stuff around that. But I suggest starting with something free like GarageBand, playing around with the loops and see if you can't make a couple tracks just to start. It makes it really easy. And if you enjoy it, right, you might just get hooked like me, and you might keep making music. So good luck, everyone. I hope this was entertaining and informative, and I'll come out with another one soon. Thanks, guys.